Hey everyone, welcome to Data Millennials. I'm Atul, and in this video we are going to discuss how we can apply or use date function within a calculated field in Looker or Google Data Studio. So as you can see over here in my table, I have category wise total items sold, and the important thing is that we have this category wise total quantity sold on a date basis. But if I'll show you the raw data, then you can see over here that we have category, then we have date field. This date field is not exactly the format of date which we want on our report. So we want our report where the date column is in this format where we have date updated. And you can see over here that for this 21st March we have 5 records are getting reflected over here, and one of the major reason that this 21st March is reflecting 5 times over here because of this date field where the time is different. You will see 12:39, 12:37, 12:36, and that's why this is repeating 5 times. So what we have to do is that we have to get this date field converted into date format so that we will have a single record in our table for a single date. When these kind of scenarios is there, then you can use this date function in your Looker or Data Studio. So in this video, we'll create a table showing the total items sold on day-to-day basis using the date function as a calculated field from scratch, so that you can get an idea that how you can use this date function at an overall level, as well as how you can use this date function within a calculated field in Looker. And another thing that we are going to do is that we are going to use that calculated field over another visualization visit also. So the first thing, before we use this date function, let's understand about this date function a little. So you can see over here we have the syntax of this date function, but this date is a date time function in Looker, and it creates a date from numbers basically. And as you can see the syntax over here, we have 3 different arguments: year, month and day. So this year is a number field or an expression representing the year of a particular date. This month is a number field or an expression representing the number, and this day is a number field or expression representing the day of the date. Now if we have a date and time expression, for example over here we have the date field which is a date and time expression, then we can directly use that. Instead of these 3 arguments, we can use that date and time expression, and this date function will understand it and put it into the correct date format. So now let's go and use this date function in our Looker report. The first thing that I'm going to do is that I'm going to click on this edit button, and I'm going to add a new page. Let's copy this headers. Now the first thing that I'm going to show you is that how you can use this date function even you do not have a data in your report. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I am going to take a scorecard basically. So I will come on add a chart, and I'll take this scorecard and put it over there. Then within this scorecard, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to change this metric, and I'm going to add a field over here. I'll just put date. Okay, so the first argument for this date function will be year, so I'm just going to give the year as 2023. Then I'm going to give the month as 12 and date as 30. Okay, now if I click on apply, you will see over here you have a new field and it says 1, and the reason being is that the aggregation is distinct count over here even though the data type is date. So instead of this distinct count, if I select this max and if I click on apply, then you will see that you have the date over here in the correct format, even though I have given year, month as 12, and over here you will see that the month is given as December, DEC. So this basically dates function helps us to create a date from number in a proper format. If you want to use this date function in different visualization visit based on your data and requirement, then what you can do is that first of all you have to read the data. So over here I have the data, and for this page 1 in the starting of the video, I've shown you these tables, and these tables were created from this data. So I've already imported the data, but if you want to import your data, then you can come over here on add data, and then you can select the Google connector from which you want to import your data, and your data will be imported. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to replicate this table, but instead of this duplication of date over here, I have to remove the duplication based on this date field where I have time also. So I'm going to add a simple pivot table over here. To add a pivot table, you have to come on add a chart and come down. You will see pivot table. You have three options. So I'm just going to select a simple pivot table. Let me resize this pivot table, and by default you will see that pivot table has taken category as your row dimension and column dimension as date field. So I don't want this date field as a column dimension, so I'll remove it, and a metric as record count. So for metric, what we can do is that we can simply take this quantity sold directly over here, as well as we can take this unit price, but this unit price won't make any sense over here because we have to multiply the unit price with quantity sold, then we will get the exact price. So I'm just going to remove this unit price. So for an instance, we are going to keep category, and then we are going to keep the quantity sold. The next information that we need on this table is the date, right? So if I take this date field over here on row dimension, then we are going to see that we have the same problem where we have repeating dates, right? And the reason is that this date has time also. So somehow we have to remove these time or replace these times with a date only value. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add a calculated field with this date function, which I've shown you over here, this date function, and create a date field where it will only take this part and format it in a correct format like this and put it in our table. So to do that, I'm just going to add a new calculated field, and you can add a calculated field from here, add a field, then click on add calculated field. The first thing that Looker will ask you is the field name. So I'm just going to give the field name as date column, and then I'm going to give the formula. So for us the formula will be date, and then we have to give year, month and day. But a couple of minutes back I've told you is that if you do not have year, month and day in a separate column, or you do not have those numbers, then you can use a date time expression directly over here. So for us over here, this date field is a date time expression which we can directly use in our date function. So I'm just gonna give the field name over here, which is date field. Now if I scroll down and click on save, you will see that we have this green check mark over here which says that our formula is correct, and then after clicking on save I can click on finish. The moment I'll click on finish, you will see that you have a new field over here which says date column. I can select this table and I can take this date column and put it over here. Now if I compare this table with this table, then you will see that it looks same, right? We have repeating dates, but what if I remove this date field from my row dimension, then we won't have the repeating dates. We have category, and then we have date column, and then based on this date column we have quantity sold. Now if I go to page 1, you will see that we have taken this category as a column, right? So I'm just gonna add this category as a column dimension. Now you have single line of date, and for each category we have the total quantity sold, right? Now if you want to use this date column which you have created right now in another visualization visit, you can do that, because this is a calculated field in the data side, not from a visualization perspective. So if you had created a calculated field specifically for this table or for this data visualization visit, then you won't be able to use that calculated field in other visualization visit. But As we have created this date column in our data side, we can use it anywhere in this report. So I'm just going to add a chart over here, and you can see that by default the dimension is category. So instead of this category, I'm just going to take date column over here, and the metric quantity sold is there by default. So with the help of this calculated field and the date function, we have changed this date field into a proper format of date, and then we have used it in different visualization visit. So this is how basically you can create a date using calculated field in Looker or Data Studio. Happy learning and see you in the next video.